Hello, welcome students to my YouTube channel. To this video, I will explain you the famous poem Daffodils of William Wordsworth. So let's start. William Wordsworth is a famous poet of English literature and he is a poet of nature. He belongs to the Romantic age. Despite the deep experiences in nature that Wordsworth describes in the prelude, his childhood was not an easy one. He lost his mother when he was just 8. With his father's death, he lost his home and the family began to break up. And he would only see his sister, Dorothy, again 9 years later. They lived together for the remainder of their lives, and she was central to his development as a poet. The homelessness of his childhood, and it has been said also, led to his sympathy for vagrants and wanderers. Let's start the analysis. Stanza 1. I wander lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. In the first stanza, the poet says that he was wandering lonely as a cloud, and that floats on high over vales and hills. And the phrase referred to him being roaming around without any purpose, and he was all alone like a cloud that floats high in the valley. Usually the clouds are not alone, but here the poet probably refers to a fragment of the cloud that moves among the hills in the valley. Unlike the clouds that are full of rain and thus move in purpose, and this fragment has no particular direction to move and just roams around above the valley. Then, while roaming in the valley, he suddenly sees a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. When all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees. So while roaming in the valley, he suddenly sees a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. The words crowd and host means a large number of people here, and hence the poet uses personification and attributes the human qualities to daffodils. Okay, and then the poet calls daffodils golden rather than yellow in order to express their majesty and beauty. And according to the poet, he sees a large number of daffodils beside the lake, beneath the trees. Okay, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. So these lines, beside the lake, beneath the trees, that is along with the source of the lake and below the trees, they are very small. Okay, and the daffodils seem to be fluttering. The last line, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. The daffodils seem to be fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Again, the poet personifies the daffodils by showing them as flapping. Flapping is here the wings of birds, or in imaginations that of angels, and dancing that are like humans in the moving breeze. Then stanza 2. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they trace in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. So the second stanza begins with the comparison between daffodils along the lake and the stars in the Milky Way. The line says continuously the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. So these phrases, Milky Way and the daffodils along the lake and that shine and stars in the Milky Way. The poet says that the daffodils trace in a never-ending line along the margin of a bay. The bay here refers to the lake here. Okay, there is no bay, it is the lake here. And according to the poet, the daffodils which cover the source of the lake seem to be unending, never ending, that is unending, like the stars in the sky. Like them, the stars of Milky Way. Okay, at the true twinkling. Then the last two lines, 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in a sprightly dance. It means the phrase 10,000 saw I at a glance is a hyperbolic, and that means the poet saw a large number of daffodils while he could not count. Okay, the daffodils were tossing their hands, they are tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The daffodils were tossing their heads in sprightly dance. That is, the word head here refers to the top flower, top part of the flower of the plant, and sprightly here means sprightly dance means lively and jubilant dance. Sprightly here is lively. And the daffodils were thus moving their heads, it means the flowers were moving a rhythm which looked quite amazing, seemed to the poet as they were dancing. Okay. The third stanza, the waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. And the poet could not be but gay, and in such a jocund company I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. Okay, and in the third stanza, the poet brings in the waves waving in the lake. The poet brings in the waves waving in the lake. The first line, the waves beside them dance, but they outdid. And the poet says that the waves beside them dance, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. So the above two lines means that there were waves and always seemed to be dancing in the lake, but the joyful dance of the daffodil was far better than their. Outdid here means here the is comparison far better than. Okay, and outdid, that crossed that level, and the sparkling waves in glee. So, but the joyful dance of the daffodils was far better than theirs, and for a poet like Wordsworth himself, and their joyful company was the ultimate source of pleasure and ecstasy. These lines somehow reflect the ideal of romantic gaze and its theme, return to nature. And what is romantic gaze? Romanticism is nothing but that is imaginative in nature, and they can see something more than us where we cannot see. They can feel something more than us where there is nothing to feel, and they can sense something more than there is nothing to sense. So they are something imaginative, more imaginative than us, the other people or the normal people. And the ultimate source of joy for romantics was nature and its appreciation. Hence, in the poem, the poet concludes that seeing the daffodils dancing along the lake is the dream of every poet, including him, and being there is like dream coming true. And thus the poet gazed. And the last line, what wealth the show to me had brought. However, he could not fully appreciate the scenery before him. Wealth here means happiness. For the romantics, nature and its beauty was the ultimate wealth, and because it was in abundance, he could take away just a little bit of it, though, and he kept watching them. Stanza 4. For often when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in the pensive mood, that flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. So in the fourth and the final stanza, the poet says that while sitting on his couch, for often when on my couch I lie, that lies here sitting on his cause. Cause is a kind of bench, and in vacat. And what is in vacat or pensive mood? So the in vacat, that is when he is idle, and in pensive mood. Pensive is here. Pensive mood when he is sorrowful, and the memories of those daffodils, and the flash upon that inward eyes which sees the bliss of solitude. So that lines, it is the and the memories of those daffodils flash upon his inward eyes. Inward eyes is here his spiritual or the romantic vision. And what is the meaning here? And their memory then becomes the source of joy in his solitude. Okay, which is the bliss of solitude. Their memories then become the source of joy in his solitude, and his heart is then filled with pleasure and dances with the daffodils. In which way the daffodils were dancing, and thus the memory of the daffodils become his companion in his solitude, and taking away all his sorrows, all his boredom, and make his spirit dance with them. So thank you students for watching the video. Please like and subscribe. Take care. Bkumar.